Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my mains and goals for the year 2022 with respect to cubing. So let's get right into this. So for those of you that don't know yet, mains are the cubes that you primarily use for each event, and goals are the timings that you aim to get at by the end of a certain time period. So for 2022, these are my main cubes mostly, and if I change them, you guys will know on the channel, of course. And my goals I will be talking about in this video, where I will elaborate what my current times are and my goals for the end of the year. So to start things off, we have the 7x7. So this is one of my favorite events, probably my most favorite, and I used the YJ magnetic 7x7, and yes, it's pretty good, amazing cube. So my current timing for 7x7, I average around 3 minutes to 3 minutes 10 seconds, and my goal by the end of 2022 is to get this down to 2 minutes 40 seconds. So I know that's quite a stretch and probably very tough to do, but I'm sure with some practice and the right targeted practice, I will be able to get there. And yes, that is my goal for 7x7, to get sub 2 minutes 40 seconds by the end of the year. So moving on, we have 6x6. 6x6, another one of my favorite events, and I use the YJ magnetic 6x6. It's not going to be a big surprise if all my big cubes are just the YJ magnetic series. So currently I average around 1 minute 55 seconds to 2 minutes 10 seconds on the 6x6, and my goal by the end of the year is to consistently be sub 1 minute 45 seconds. Again, quite a huge expectation, but at the end of the day, these are some of the events I'm going to be practicing the most, so it makes sense to have bigger expectations for these. So yeah, sub 145 for the 6x6. Moving on, we have 5x5. Again, the YJ magnetic 5x5, not a surprise here really. And my current time for this event is I average around 1 minute flat to 1 minute 5 seconds, and that is a decent average, but I'm pretty sure with more practice I can get sub 1, and my goal by the end of 2022 is to actually get sub 55 seconds on this. And again, very tough, but I will be putting the efforts into it hopefully. So yes, that's my goal for 5x5. Moving on to 4x4, I have the YJ magnetic 4x4. So yeah, my current average on 4x4, I haven't been practicing it much as 5x5, 6x6 and 7x7. So my current average is around 32 to 35 seconds, and I aim to be sub 30 by the end of this year. Again, it shouldn't be as tough as the others, but I really need to improve on some key parts of my solve, as well as improve efficiency and consistency with turning, which is something I really lack nowadays because of my slightly reduced practice schedules. So that's for 4x4. Now we move on to 3x3. It's a main event for a lot of people. I use the Yukshin Little Magic, the Elitem version, Cubelelo's Elitem version for this, and honestly, it's one of the best cubes I've ever used, and I do talk about this cube in another video which you should check out here. And my current 3x3 average is around 8.5 to 10 seconds, which is pretty inconsistent for 3x3. Normally the gap is only around a second, but my range is 1.5 seconds right now, and it's probably close to 2 seconds on my bad days. So my goal by the end of the year is to be consistently sub 8, which is solve it under 8 seconds, and that will require me to get more efficient with my F12 and learn maybe techniques like pseudo slotting and other things and apply them to my solves. So it's not a very serious goal for me. My more serious goals are the big cubes, which I've spoken about so far. So yes, that's what I aim for 3x3. Moving on, we have the 2x2. I use the Chi Volk 2M. And for those of you that do follow cubing news, this cube has been discontinued, at least on Cubelelo, because, well, now there's a lot better hardware out there, and it's quite heavy, and most people feel like the magnets are too strong. But since I don't do 2x2, it works for me, and I don't really mind. My current 2x2 average is probably sub 4. I don't do enough. I probably don't do 5 2x2 solves in my entire year, so I don't know if I'm sub 4. And my goal by the end of 2022 is to not become not sub 4. So I want to stay sub 4. That's all my goal is. I don't have any serious goals for 2x2, but maybe in the future. But yeah, big cubes, as I said, are currently my primary aim and focus. So moving on, we have 3x3 one-handed. for which I use the exact same cube as my 3x3 for the main. It is the Yuxian Little Magic LE10 version, but sometimes I like to use the Chi MS 3x3, which I have made a video about, I believe. I will link it up here. And it does suit my turning sometimes, and it depends on which one suits my turning better on the day of solving or practicing, that I will choose my main cube. But yeah, currently the Yuxian Little Magic's the main and this is the backup cube. And yes, that's for one-handed. My current timing for one-handed is around 15 to 18 seconds is my average. My goal for the end of 2022 is to simply be sub 15 seconds. I don't care where I land, but I just want to be sub 15 and relatively consistently, not as much as the others, but yeah, I would like to be there. Moving on, we have the Megaminx, one of my favorite, like it became one of my favorite events in the last 2 months, and I have made a Megaminx tutorial which you should check out here if you like Megaminx. And yeah, I used a YJMGC magnetic Megaminx, shock. And this has surprisingly been discontinued as well, and I am quite sad to see that happen. But yes, a lot of people had complaints with this cube about it being too big, being too catchy, being too locky. But I think my turning is already so not uniform that all of that doesn't really make a big difference to my times. Maybe in the future it will, and I might have to buy a new one, a different cube. But yes, this is my main Megaminx. I currently average around 58 seconds to 1 minute 2 seconds, anywhere between that. And my goal by the end of the year is to be sub 50. And that is a huge jump, it's almost 10 seconds. And I believe I am capable of it, simply because I know exactly where I lack in Megaminx, and it's the pauses between the S to L pairs. So I really need to work on those, and I know I will. So Megaminx, I'm aiming for sub 50 by the end of 2022. Moving on, we have the Pyraminx, and another event I really don't practice. I use, it's in fact, someone doesn't practice Pyraminx when their main is literally a cube from like 4 years ago. And this is the Chi X-Man Bell V1 magnetic Pyraminx. No specialties, nothing. It was one of the best cubes ever at that time, like for Pyraminx. And yes, this has also been discontinued, sadly. And my current average on Pyraminx is probably around 5 to 7.5 seconds, anywhere between that. I would say more on the higher side of that, so around 6.5 seconds. Very inconsistent. But I think I will start practicing Pyraminx again. And I do have some friends who do Pyraminx, and they do a method called L4E, which I really want to start learning. So perhaps I will start that this year. And yeah, my goal is to be sub 6 consistently, which is all I want really. I don't want to get professional at this yet. So yes. Next we have the Skewb. This cube, I use the Chi X-Man Wingy magnetic Skewb. Very old Skewb, but very nice Skewb, and I really like it because my turning style is very slow. So it doesn't really matter what I use. And as you can see, I have forgotten how to solve. Oh no, I do remember how to solve this cube. Okay, so yeah, my current timing average for Skewb is probably around 6 to 8 seconds, probably closer to 8, I would say, like 7-8 seconds. But I don't really have any goals for Skewb, probably just stay around the 6 or 7 second mark. I really don't mind. But in the future, I do want to learn more advanced methods, like Sarah's advanced method. That would be nice. So yes, that is Skewb. So now next we have Square One. One of the events I really fell in love with in the middle of, I believe it was middle of 2021, but I'm not sure because time has been going so fast in the pandemic. And I love Square One, but I haven't got much time to practice it because I've been focusing on big cubes more. So my current average is probably around 30 seconds. It's back to 30. I got it down to 25, but it's probably back to 35 seconds. But I have learned Lin, so all I need to do is review my algorithms, of which there's only 6. So if I review those algorithms and learn maybe a few more efficient ways to do cube shape, the first step, I should be aiming for a sub 20 average by the end of the year. But don't quote me on this because I'm not too sure about Square One, because I have random on and off periods with it, and yeah, we'll see what suits me when. But yes, I will aim for a sub 20 average if I get back into Square One for sure, because Lin is an amazing method. Thank you, Sukant, for teaching me Lin. So next we have the clock. Another event which I started doing a lot, but I haven't had much success with my official or in competition results for that matter. So I don't really mind clock. So I feel like clock is just an event where if you grind, you're gonna get better. That's pretty much it, because it's mostly based on how fast you can turn, since the logic behind each turning each dial is fixed and constant. And yeah, that's what I feel. My current average is around 16 to 20 seconds, I'm guessing. Also, yeah, I forgot to say, my main for the clock is the Skewb Yellow Elite clock, which has been discontinued because a lot of complaints came that it wasn't official because the pins would fall. But as you can see, my pins don't fall. So mine is official, so I still use it. And yes, it is within the regulations if the pins don't fall that you can use it. And my goal is probably to get sub 12. And I believe if I grind for just around a week, not even like that much, I should be able to get there. So it's based on competitions, I would say. But yes, the goal is sub 12. For those of you that have watched the video until here, first of all, thank you so much for staying this long. And second of all, here is the last event I will be talking about. This is a wildcard entry to this list. Yep, blindfolded. 3x3 blindfolded is something I've again had a very on and off relationship with, but I have started learning the 3-style method, which solves 2 pieces at a time for corners and edges from scratch. And I use, for those of you that know 3-style, I use a UFR buffer, and I'm still learning a lot of algorithms. So my aim is to get down all the algorithms in my head, basically I will try to understand the intuition behind every single algorithm, except the ones which are very random and just because they're more efficient you need to memorize them. Except for those, I will try to get my intuition down for all of them by the middle of the year or earlier, depending on my academic schedule, because things are again, becoming haywire because of the third wave of COVID hitting in India again, COVID-19. So yes, hopefully by the end of the year, I should be fully used to the 3-style method for solving 3x3 blindfolded. And I will aim to get a higher success rate than a higher speed, because I feel if I get a higher success rate, then my mechanism for learning and memorizing letter pairs will get more efficient, and then I can work on optimizing it, which would give me like faster solves. So that's what my aim is. And then then move on to breaking barriers such as sub 1 and sub 40. But really for this year, all I want to do is focus on understanding the method of 3-style, and then by the end of the year, get a good success rate with it. So yes, that concludes all the events that I'm focused on this year, or not focused on, even just the events that I do in general. Now do note I have excluded events such as FMC and of course the multi-blind and 4-blind and 5-blind, but that's mainly because I don't think I'll be doing them this year, but I'm not too sure. Who knows what could happen. So yes, I think that's all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it was informative to you. Do let me know your mains and goals for this year in the comments below. I would love to hear about what you guys have in mind. And yes, do leave a comment and do like if you like the video. Do subscribe if you enjoy the videos on this channel, and let me know where I can improve. I would love to take any feedback. And yes, I will see you in the next one. Peace.